Oh, must be Tuesday. Must be Tuesday. Left look all stiff over there. He must be frozen. Wendy down here looking like Kumo D.
Hi,
Oh,
my name is Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders down there. We got a special guest,
We're
Deion
coming.
Sanders of the Colorado Buffalo.
We're here.
Here,
We're
here,
coming.
look, here for the post game.
Welcome to Down in Sports Talk. I'm your boy MC Win, and you know who that is. That's the code D of Mr. RM Des. Miss Yada Bear, she's in the building. What up, Yada?
Hey, just here chilling. Another day, another dollar. Um, Post Harden, era here in Philly. We got Mr. Win Walker sitting over there with his shades on, getting ready to get in with this week's review. We got NFL Week 8. A lot of interesting storylines came to play. Um, a lot of frauds, was exposed once again. Week 8 is basically when you see who's really going to be a contender.
We back live. Doing it
There we
one more
go.
time.
There we go. Now we back. Little technical difficulties happening, but we still here.
The
Um,
storm is over.
the storm is over. The Eagles came out on the other end victorious per usual. Against the Commanders. It's always a tough game when we playing NFC East opponent. For some reason, the Commanders get up for the Eagles. Man, they play us super hard, and it's always a really close game. But I mean, it wasn't really that close. That last touchdown was a garbage time touchdown. I don't really count garbage time touchdowns. But you see that grab that AJ Brown made in the end zone with the one hand?
Man, he's trying to get his LBJ on. We seen him.
Nah.
His, his
That was
Randy
that
Moss.
was a Megatron type of catch. That was a Calvin Johnson, and he broke Calvin Johnson's record with the most consecutive games with 125 plus yards. So, he came out there and he did his thing. Julio Jones, we had a Julio Jones sighting. He got his first
I
touchdown.
seen Julio.
As
Julio.
an Eagle and for the year. So that was nice to see. The defense, you know, gave up a lot of yards. Still banged up in the secondary, but when we needed to make the key plays, they was able to make it. Blankenship with the pick, and then in the game with a sack fumble from Hassan Reddick. Um, that was the story of the game. It was like up and down, going back and forth. But we came out this week right here is the most important week. It's Dallas week. We got the Cowgirls coming to town.
Mm, we hate with a passion.
Yep.
We
And
want y'all to be.
they just came off a big win. They crushed the Rams, but we all know what the Rams are this year.
Yeah.
They I'm surprised they didn't trade away anybody during the trade. I'm surprised Aaron
Oh,
Donald.
today was the deadline, the trade
Mm-hmm.
deadline.
Yeah,
Okay.
Montez Sweat got traded from the Commanders to the Chicago Bears, which I don't understand for him. You went from a bad team to a worse team. But Chase Young
Mm-hmm.
got traded to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
good move right there for Seattle, who is currently sitting number one in the NFC West. Not to my surprise because I picked them to win the West. Everybody thought the 49ers are going to be sitting up there pretty at the top, but it looked like
Exposed.
yeah, as I spoke earlier about frauds, fraudulent teams. The 49ers is a fraudulent team. They put their eggs all in the Brock Purdy basket. And for some, he turned out to be exactly what we thought he was. He's a game manager, he'll get you, he keep you in the game, but he's not going to be the reason why you win the game. And once again, they lost to the Bengals. He threw a couple picks, and he just couldn't manage the game. And then you look on the defensive side, they got all these heavy hitters. You would think that their defense would be extremely dominant, and ain't nothing happening. Nothing happening for them at all. Um, we seen the Chiefs lose this week to the Broncos.
Exposed.
Which was surprising. They try to make the excuse about him being sick, like Patrick Mahomes was sick. Yeah, we knew he was sick, but the truth is he has no receivers. Sky Moore dropped like 2 touchdowns.
Right.
And
right.
And I was surprised that they didn't try to make a move during the trade to at least try to get a receiver. I'm surprised that Mike Evans is still a Tampa Bay Buccaneers and not a Chief. I was
surprised. I'm surprised Mike Evans is still with Tampa Bay too, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We'd like to welcome back RM Des.
Yeah. Back to the building. We got an interview with Deion Sanders coming up later on in the show. I had to make sure that the connection was right. We got Deion Sanders coming on later on the show. But yeah, as far as that's concerned, man, a lot of stuff is going on in the NFL. You don't know what's up, what's down, what's left, what's right. You know what I mean? A lot of topsy-turvy things going on. It's only a few things that you can really count on. You look at the Eagles; they're fairly consistent. Even when they play, close games like Yada was mentioning earlier, it's always a close game against NFC East opponent, especially Washington. And like she said, they get up for the Eagles. But I think this is not the Eagles from last year, right? I think that this team right here still hasn't played their top game. They've had, people make, plays and have nice games and put together, nice games and things like that. But I think in totality, you look at the Washington game which really was in doubt, you know what I mean? But their defense came through. The offense made some plays, but I'm not, mad at them. Look at where they at, you know what I mean? As opposed to Kansas City, who just played Denver a couple of weeks ago, you know what I mean? And the Patrick Mahomes was sick, so
yeah,
if they would have won, he would have been sick too, right? So at the end of the day, the Denver Broncos have they kind of found their bearing? Are they getting it together now? Because they was a laughing stock of the league a couple of weeks ago. You know what I mean? I don't know, Yada. I'm not saying that they're going to be, home field advantage in the AFC, but I think Russell Wilson did look like he had a little pep in his step. You know what I mean? The defense kind of stepped up, and again, I just think that the Denver Broncos might be, trying to come up off the mat like Rocky Balboa right now. You know what I mean? It's only half the season. They went through their growing pains, and we'll see what happens. There's still 8-9 games left to go. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
I think when we speak of laughing stock of the league, I think the fingers are pointed towards Oakland. I mean Las Vegas Raiders. They yesterday was a dumpster fire. You got one of the best receivers in the league, and he got 1 catch for 11 yards. I watched some of that game. Jimmy G out there overthrowing him, throwing the ball out of bounds. It was terrible. And seeing him visibly frustrated week after week, because it wasn't the first week that we seen him like this season. It's like week after week, he's on the sideline slamming his helmet down, look totally disgusted. and when you think about it, it's like damn, he only went to Vegas because one, he wanted to play with his man who was Carr, that they traded Derek Carr to,
The
let him
Saints.
go to the Saints. And then you leave him out there by himself. Then you bring in Jimmy G thinking that he's going to be your savior because Josh McDaniels, you have a relationship with him from New England, and it's a dumpster fire in Vegas. Josh McDaniels, once again, is a failure as a head coach. And I have said it before. Everybody's not meant to be a head coach. Sometimes being a
Right.
offensive coordinator is perfect for you. That's great. But as a head coach, Josh McDaniels is trash. We saw it in Denver, and then we seeing it here in Vegas. So it's like, how long is he going to be in Vegas before Mark Davis stop celebrating with the Las Vegas Aces, paying attention to the Raiders and it seeing
That's
like,
right.
yo, Josh McDaniels is trash. Like, we had a decent team. He wanted Carr gone. He wanted to bring in Jimmy, and look what's happening. You know, we are a laughing stock. I think it's time for Josh McDaniels to hit the road. He can't do it. He can't do
And
it.
okay, I agree with you. I agree with you to a certain extent, a certain degree. But who replaces him? Like, you know what I mean? Just real quick, because we're gonna talk about some other stuff. But who replaces Josh McDaniels? If you want to get rid of him, then what happens next? You got an unhappy Devontae Adams, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got a useless Jimmy Garoppolo right now.
Mm-hmm.
A nondescript Josh Jacobs, right?
Yep.
A defense that's nowhere to be found.
Except for Max Crosby.
Yes, except for Max Crosby, but he gets lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for Max Crosby. So, I mean, what do you do with that? And who wants to take that headache on for a year or two?
Right.
That's because that's all that the Raiders coaching thing is, a revolving door. Nobody lasts long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Josh McDaniels, if this is what it comes down to, it speaks to everything about how you've been as a head coach, which hasn't been very, very good. You got your rings and all that, but that was under Belichick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, at the end of the day, it's not really about you having Jimmy Garoppolo in place of Derek Carr, because you had Derek Carr, you got Devontae Adams, y'all got rid of Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Y'all let Derek Carr make that move and go to New Orleans. So again, at the end of the day, this is what you end up with. So the Raiders should be playing a lot more better, football than they are right now. But you can say that for a couple of teams in that division too. I mean, even the Chargers, they did their thing against the Bears. But when do they ever show up against Kansas City?
No.
You know what I mean?
No, they haven't. They haven't really showed up for anybody in the division.
Right.
You expect the Chargers to be, further along, especially
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Them still having a core group, the Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, and Justin Herbert. Like, you gave Justin Herbert that money, and then on the defensive side, you got both, and Darwin James. Like, you got people there. You're supposed to have a good overall team, right? But the Chargers is kind of like similar to the Raiders, where is it the coach? Because they have a revolving door for coaches in San Diego, in LA, also with the Chargers. So I don't know. That division is shaping up to be pretty weird. It's like either one or two teams, or maybe all four teams. It could be a toss up. But one thing that we can kind of see right now, that the Chiefs most likely is going to come out of that division.
Yeah, more than likely they're gonna win that division. But let's talk about a matchup you got coming up against your division rival, the Dallas Cowboys. What's that situation looking like? And I think that a lot Cowboy fans are, coming out the woodworks. They're feeling themselves. They're beating their chests. They're feeling like the Eagles are vulnerable.
They always feel like we are vulnerable because that's how delusional the Cowboys fan base are. I mean, when you really think about it, the Cowboys are just beating up on bad teams. Look what happened when they played the 49ers. They got trashed. And we see what the 49ers are now. The 49ers are a shell of themselves now. But they went
all of a sudden.
Yeah. All of a sudden, the last 3 games, Brock Purdy turned into a pumpkin. He turned back into the last pick of the draft, who we all thought he was. So with the Cowboys thinking that we are vulnerable, I want them to think that. Keep that in their mind so that when they come here and lose, is that much sweeter for us. I mean, the best player on their team has told the world on his very own podcast from his mouth that the Eagles are the best team in the NFL. Micah Parsons said that out of his mouth. So even he knows that he plays on the less superior team than the Eagles. He want to be here. Like, I am convinced that Micah Parsons want to be a Philadelphia Eagle. From the get-go, he made the comment about Jalen Carter. He said, "Oh my God, I can't believe the league let the Eagles get Jalen Carter. He's the best player in the draft, and they let him drop to the Eagles." Then he said out of his mouth, "Oh, the Eagles, they got one of the best offensive line out there, the most complete team." And then last week he said, "We're the best team in the NFL." I feel like this man really want to be here. And I feel like somebody in Dallas is going to have to check him because he's riding our jock too hard.
He's riding your jock too hard. Huh?
Like, I never seen a Cowboy player, be on our top as much as Michael Parsons has been. It's confusing, but I know what it is because deep down in his heart, he want to wear this Kelly green. He want to come to Philly. He want cheesesteaks. He wants soft pretzels. He want a hoagie. He want to be loved and embraced.
That's y'all the Bears popping shit, y'all.
Okay.
Y'all the Bears popping shit.
Seeing Dak out there with his mediocre arm strength, throwing these mediocre routes to a mediocre number 1 receiver who only lines up in the slot. How is your number 1 receiver a slot receiver? That's extremely confusing to me. And he sees this terrible defense that he got behind him. He's the only thing that's good on that line. The secondary is trash now. Anybody's throwing on him. So I just can't wait till Sunday. It's going to be a beautiful game for us.
I would like y'all to represent the state of Pennsylvania well.
We will. We will not let the state of Pennsylvania down by losing to the Cowgirls.
Because Pittsburgh will represent the state of Pennsylvania well Thursday night. Redemption Thursday.
That's what we call it Thursday, Redemption.
What did you think? What did you think that you did wrong against Jacksonville? You lost 20-10?
No, it was a 7-point game. It was 27-17.
That's 10 points, ain't it?
That's 10 points.
Yeah, it's still 10 points, but it wasn't 20-10. But let's
10
Still up by 10. If it's
you see how?
Oh my God!
10 points. Come on. Y'all, I tried to revert it and try to catch you, but I guess I'm not.
Listen,
that stuff, man.
Put some respect.
Okay, can I say this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it was a 10-point margin, but it should have been more. It should have been a 20 or 30-point margin that they beat us by, because it's hard to play a football team that cheats and the ref playing with the football team.
Here we go.
Number one, let's talk about the field goal that was the end of the half. It would have tied the game.
You know what? We're not going to talk about that. You know why?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
no,
you got something to say about the referees, and you could tie that all in later on, right?
Okay.
We know
Well,
we know your Steelers was not going to beat Jacksonville. We knew that, right?
I didn't know that.
You found out though, didn't you?
Redemption Thursday.
Found out, right?
You found out though, didn't you?
I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed with Jacksonville.
Okay.
I wasn't. My defense held them. They had help from the refs.
No, so, I would say that that game could have been closer. Jacksonville didn't really look really dominant. The run game didn't get going until a little bit later, and I don't know, something with the passing game is getting a little weird. It's like him and Christian Kirk or him and Calvin.
They was relying on Eton the whole game.
Well, he's right now he's the best receiver out the back.
That's and that was the whole game.
Yeah, Etienne.
The whole game.
Yeah. He's the guy.
Yeah, Etienne has been like their top receiver coming out the backfield. Because like running the ball, he hasn't really the offensive line really not that good, so he really haven't had the blocking. But the short pass and the screens is working well for him, and that's Dougie P all day. Dougie P gonna beat the blitz with the
Dougie P. All right.
Yeah, okay, Dougie P. All right. But the whole thing is the refs were just cheating, and we'll leave it at that. A lot of people got exposed this weekend, like you said. San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my point is this, going back to what Yada was talking about a few moments ago. It's this trend with Dallas. They start out on the bandwagon. They win a couple of games. Then they say they're ready. They Super Bowl bound. Then they get to the playoffs, if they make the playoffs, and they choke. This cycle repeats itself every year. And I'm really getting tired of these. Just because they win a game, they act like that was the Super Bowl. They win a game and they're going to the Super Bowl. Hey, it's still 9 more games left. You still have to go through the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl. The big heavy hitters are falling off, except Philly right now. I give them their shout outs and they come to play. They do their work. Kansas City's been exposed. It's a lot of top teams that's been exposed. So it's still a toss-up. And with Pittsburgh losing, even with the loss, we're still number 2 in our division. Because the AFC North, we all right there. The Ravens is only up 1 game for the number 1 spot. So, okay. And we play them again also.
So today was a trade deadline, man. So a couple of moves was made. We saw the kid Chase Young go to the San Francisco 49ers, which is going to bolster the defense that they already had.
Who went to the Seahawks? Who went to the Seahawks? I got that mixed up.
The Williams guy, the Williams from the Giants.
Leonard Williams from the Giants.
Leonard Williams.
Yeah. I forgot Chase Young went to the Niners.
And you see Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs went to Minnesota basically to replace Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, they needed that.
I mean the trade deadline. You look at some people that didn't get moved that they were talking about, like Saquon Barkley, you know what I mean? Some other guys that were being mentioned as being, trade beta, things of that nature. The the teams that made moves that they needed to make. You saw what happened. They broke up that defensive line in Washington, all right, by sending Chase Young to the 49ers to bolster what they got out there with Bosa, you know what I mean, and Fred Warner and those guys. So, now we get into the second half of the season. We're probably going to go overtime tonight anyway, but I wanted to ask Yada Bear, now we're at the halfway point of the season, who looks like, they're in for the long run, who looks like they might be a surprise, and who looks like they're ready for the draft?
Teams I see that's ready for the long run, of course, the Eagles, Seahawks. I say Lions. And that's really about it. I feel like everybody else is a toss-up. Like, even though Chase Young went to the 49ers, the offense is stagnant. The defense outside of really Fred Warner isn't what it was last season. With the addition with Javon Hargrave, you haven't heard his name at all.
And they traded Montez Sweat to the Bears.
Yeah, and with the Niners, I just feel like they are a mediocre team that beat a bunch of bad teams also, like how the Dolphins did. Montez Sweat going to Chicago, to me, like I said, he went from a bad team to a worse team. For Chicago, Carolina, Washington, because they just giving away their whole defense. I think it's a little too late or ready for the draft. They're getting ready for the draft. Well, I think Washington waited too long to tank, by giving up the defense. They need to give up a little bit more to really solidify the tank. Josh Dobbs going to the Vikings, that might help the tank for them, because to me, Kirk Cousins this might be the last time we see Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. Even before he got hurt, his name was rumored to be traded, going to another team, which was crazy because he's a starting quarterback. You never really see a starting quarterback get traded during the season. So with his name being there, that already solidified the fact that the Vikings was ready to move on from him. So it probably was a blessing in disguise to the Vikings that he tore his Achilles. So now they don't have to be the bad guys. It's like, oh, well, you just coming up
right, and get rid of him, is it? Right,
yeah, like 30 plus years old, the cap. So we just gonna let you go, and they try to pick up somebody in the draft or trade for like a bridge quarterback, because they still, to me, not bad enough to get one of those top spots. Because you still got Houston, who's bad. You got the Raiders, who's bad. So those like
Giants
is bad. Yeah, so no top 5 spots. It's gonna be hard to try to grab, to try to get one of these quarterbacks out there, unless you're gonna trade away a big asset off your team. But the second half should be interested. Our schedule get turned up a little bit. Dallas, the bye. Then we come back. I believe we got Chiefs. And then I think we got either Dallas again or the Niners. Hold on, I can tell you in a second, because in the second half get turned up. So after Sunday, we got our bye. Then we come back Chiefs, Buffalo, San Francisco, then Dallas, then the Seahawks. So those 5 games, that's a tough stretch right there.
Yeah, that's almost trying to run through the gauntlet right there. You know what I mean?
So this right here is going to tell a lot about my team, but also going to tell a lot about the Chiefs, the Bills, the 49ers, and the Seahawks.
The Cowboys.
Well, we're gonna see them Sunday, so we're going to see what they are already. But
and they are facade. They are
like the other guys. It's going to be a gauntlet, like you said. So second half is going to be turned up for a lot of people, but we're already starting to weed out the pretenders and the contenders already. And with this trade, a lot of pieces really wasn't moved like that. Cleveland traded Donovan People-Jones.
Right.
So it wasn't really no huge names being moved like we was expecting.
Right.
Like even maybe Chris Godwin or Mike Evans might get moved. Like teams didn't do.
Yeah, and again, they don't. Like every trade that has a quote unquote name player gets described as a blockbuster.
Yeah,
like they're not. I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to nitpick or get down into watered down definition.
Didn't nobody's block get busted then?
Huh?
Okay. Didn't nobody's block get busted?
Didn't nobody get busted?
Nah, it's a blockbuster trade. A blockbuster trade is a trade that have everybody talking like wow, they got rid of that guy for that guy. You know what I mean? These trades are manufactured. They're not blockbuster deals. They try to sell it as a blockbuster. These are not blockbuster deals.
Yeah, like
these guys. How could it be a blockbuster deal when you trading a top name guy for a bunch of draft picks? You don't know what you're getting. You don't know what that draft pick will turn into 3 years down the road.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. But
it was kind of like this was like a lackluster trade.
Yeah, it was.
Season for the NFL this year. There was no Saquon. It was
right.
No Jacob.
Right.
It wasn't no names, and like I said, none of the other big guys. Like nobody from the Chiefs. The Chiefs didn't make no moves. The Patriots didn't make no moves.
Now that's who should have made some moves.
Those teams didn't make a move, really, to get better. So I'm looking at that's why I'm looking at the Chiefs. So you're just gonna rock out with Sky Moore, who's dropping like 3 touchdowns in the game. That's the receiver that you're going to give Patrick Mahomes to try to go to back-to-back Super Bowls. Like I understand that you feel like you can just plug and play anybody in the system, but that's what you want to rock out with. That's
right. All right. We're gonna run our last points on the NFL. Then we're gonna slide into some basketball. And let me talk about my Buccaneers. Like everybody talks about their team. I'm talking about my Buccaneers, man. You know what? We're sliding to familiar territory. The 3-1. I don't want to say it was a mirage, but it was a mirage. Right now, we're playing a very, very lackluster brand of football. We're in games, you know what I mean, but we still do the same Tampa Bay Buccaneer things to lose games. Against Atlanta, for example, Desmond Ridder, the Atlanta Falcons quarterback, turned the ball over 3 times in the red zone. And we couldn't do nothing with that, and we lost late. It's 16-13. You know what I mean? So again, we're still doing the same things, man. Our record is 3-4. You know what I mean? I really think that at this point in the game, we should be at least 5-2. That's just me. But we're playing at a 3 or 4 level, so that's what we are. Once upon a time, somebody said your record. I think it was Bill Parcells. He said your record tells you who you are. You are what your record says you are. You can't be talking, champagne thoughts and caviar dreams with a 7-6 record. You can't be doing that. You know what I mean? So your record, it says what you are. You know what I mean? So
and chopped cheese.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So again, at the end of the day, and especially when you go out there and play those teams that are ahead of you, as an example, when we played like the Eagles, and we saw where our barometer was at. You know what I mean? And when we lose like we did against Buffalo, you don't hear me crying about the pass interference at the end of the game. You don't hear me crying about that. You know what I mean? We was in that game against Buffalo. We should be getting blown out. You know what I mean? But again, we was in the game, until the end. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm not going to take anything away from my team. I'm going to talk garbage about my team when we stink. You know what I mean? And we're doing right now. I'm just not trying to see 5-12. I'm not trying to see that. You know what I'm saying? I know we're not going to go, 13-4, but I'm not trying to see 5-12 either. You know what I mean? And if we're going to tank, let's just go all the way. I'll put it out there like that, Browski. If we're going to tank,
Got commit
if
to it.
we're going to get K-Rabs for K-Lab, then let's do it.
Listen, it's too late. Y'all should have traded Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. You can't take with that.
I don't even know, man. I just think that we should be better than what we are, and we'll leave it at that. It's the first week of the NBA season. Hold on. They said Deion Sanders is on his way. Deion Sanders is on his way down in Sports Talk, ladies and gentlemen. We will have an exclusive interview, Halloween interview with Deion Sanders coming up soon. A trade was made today. I think Browski might want to comment on that because it involves her team, and they got rid of some baggage today. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, round 2 something in the morning came across the wires.
Morning.
Yeah,
They moved him. They moved him like they was moving out the projects. 2:00 in the morning.
So, yeah,
don't let nobody see what we got. Put the stuff in the truck and let's get out.
Got him out of here real quick in the middle of the night. James Harden has finally been traded to his destination, which is the LA Clippers. So we got James out of here, and we got his bag boy, his buddy. I can't even think of his name now. What's that guy name?
Daryl Morey?
No. PJ Tucker. We got PJ Tucker.
Sneaker Man, PJ Tucker.
Yeah, PJ Tucker, the man that will play 30 minutes and give you 0, 0, 0, and 0. Okay?
just like Zoda's what's on his paycheck. Just like what's on just like
0, 0, 0. Across the board, and the guy that he's guarding has 39 points,
Right.
So he's out of here. James finally, got his wish, after, him begging to get out of Houston, went to Brooklyn, begged to get out of Brooklyn to come to Philly, and now he begged his way and made all these false accusations, calling people liars to get out of Philly to go to the Clippers, which he didn't even have to do because he had the option to opt out of his contract, but he decided to opt in. So now, we finally over. We got them out of here. We got 2 first-round draft picks. We got 2 second-round draft picks, and we got a pick swap. And then we also bring in Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum, Robert Covington, KJ Martin, who basically have to be on the team for 60 days before we do the second part of the trade. Because if you think that we just traded James Harden just for picks and bench pieces, it's not the case. There's a part 2 to the trade that's going to happen when we have to wait for Chicago to continue to lose, because that's what's going to happen, because Zach LaVine is going to come to Philadelphia. I am very confident that is the route that we're going. That's why we got all these first round picks, so that we can give to a team who is tanking, but not openly tanking. You know how it goes when people are tanking, but they don't want to say they're tanking, but they're tanking. Then that's what's going to happen. I don't understand what's going to happen in LA with James and Westbrook and Kawhi and Paul George. I feel like it's going to be the same thing that happened in Brooklyn for James Harden, because you got 2 guys who's always hurt. These guys are not going to play 65 games. And then you got Russell Westbrook out there who think he can shoot. This guy still thinks
who think he can shoot 65 times a game.
Exactly. He still think that, you know what? I got the ball in my hand. There's a couple seconds left. Instead of me passing to a wide open Kawhi Leonard,
right, to a wide open
brick.
Right, with 2 inches from the basket, I'm gonna shoot a 30-footer.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw up this brick. So, Ty Lue gonna have a tough task on his hand, trying to incorporate all of these guys together to play as one. I don't see it being very successful. I don't understand why James Harden wanted to go to LA so bad, to go back to the West, which is stacked, where you're on a Sixers team that's guaranteed to go to the playoffs each season. You're not guaranteed in LA. The West is so stacked that it's very easy.
You be damn near lucky to get out the first round.
You be damn lucky to get into the play-in, okay? You're lucky to get in the play-in, but you want to leave the East where, you know, you lost in the second round because you decided that you didn't know how to play basketball anymore, along with Joel Embiid. You know, you went to the playoffs 2 years in a row with the Sixers, and now you're going to LA to hope to even make it in the play-in in the West. It's mind-blowing to me. But it's over. I'm happy that it's done. Now we can move on. I like the way that my Sixers look even without James. The addition of Kelly Oubre has been something that I have been calling for a while, to have a player on the bench that's going to give me double digits every night. He's going to give me from 12 to 25 points a night. I never had a bench player like that here in Philadelphia that I can rely on, that I know I'm going to get double digits from the bench. So we're still incomplete until Daryl Morey flipped those picks, which we have to wait 60 days. So I expect by January we have a complete team before our All-Star break. How you feel about your Knicks? Your Knicks
you know what? I feel like I can't get down on them because again, we lost to the Celtics on opening night. Then we beat Atlanta. You know what I mean? And then, you know, we played the Pelicans. Jalen Brunson shooting 48% on 8 3-pointers a game. He's only made 29% of his 2-point shots.
Yeah.
He made 52% of them last year.
Yeah.
RJ Barrett is trying to pick up the slack. But the thing that's bugging me out and bothering me is the same Julius Randle. I've been crying about Julius Randle for 3 years now, yo. And everybody's like, give him a chance. And he's doing this. He got hurt at the wrong time. And blah, 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 blah. Yada, 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 right? I'm looking at Julius Randle and I'm like, this is the same dude. So what? He cut his hair off. So what? This is the same dude.
He got no cut. He different.
The aerodynamics have gotten no better, son.
No,
the aerodynamics have gotten no better. So again, you know, it's early. You know, we're 3 games in. I mean, we're doing our thing against Cleveland or whatever right now. But I'm not down on the Knicks. I just wish that somebody would decide to kind of like take charge and be the man on this team. You know what I mean? I like the energy. I like the energy that Dante DiVincenzo brings. I like the energy, right? But we have to bring that to a winning situation. He has to be that spark plug that comes in and sparks us to victories. You know what I mean? I like what we did against Atlanta. I like what we did, but then we turned around and fell in our face against New Orleans.
I mean, Zion is.
I mean, again, at the end of that, Julius Randle.
Zion
You know what I'm
was
saying,
playing like
Boston?
a man
You know what I'm
possessed.
saying?
He was
Julius
schooling
Julius
Julian. He
Randle.
was schooling
As
Randall.
a Knicks fan, I would say to you, I would counter your Zion with Julius Randle, knowing that I'm bugging out, knowing that Julius Randle is I ain't gonna say he's garbage. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. But Julius Randle is not on Zion level.
Nah.
I say that.
The one thing I do notice by the Knicks is the Knicks go as Jalen Brunson go. If he's not on, the Knicks are not on at all. So I definitely agree about what you're saying about the Knicks. They don't have a second option. You would think Julius Randle would be the second option, but he's extremely inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
With RJ Barrett, sometimes RJ Barrett just get lost on the court. Sometimes and I noticed that last year too. It's like some games he's present, most games he's not. I do like the kid Grimes. I think Grimes is very energetic guy out there. But maybe they'll be active, during the trade deadline because something have to give. It's been too many seasons with Julius Randle there and getting the same results, and it seems like he doesn't really.
Same thing, yo. I've been saying it forever. The same thing. I've been saying it forever. I didn't want to say Julius Randle is a ball and garbage, but again, he makes me look right. Like I'm like, what are we doing here? I said 2 years ago he owes me a playoff series. Last year he got hurt in the playoffs. Like, what are we doing?
Would you say he's a role player? Playing
what is his role? He wants to be the head honcho. He wants to be the leader of the team, but he doesn't even contribute like he's the leader of the team. You know what I mean? So again, at the end of the day, he has to play himself into that respect. Jalen Brunson came and snatched that role from him last year.
No,
snatched it.
Yeah, maybe the Knicks is just not the team for Julius Randle. Maybe his time here.
I wish Steve and them hurry up and figure that out.
Well, we let him go too. He played for the Lakers.
Yeah, but he was young. He was real young. That was young, He wasn't. Now I think this dude Julius Randle on the Lakers would be successful with LeBron, but I think maybe
where does Julius Randle rate in your top? I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50. Where does Julius Randle land?
Well, what as in current players?
As period.
Period. He's not top anything. I think as like for like, current players, but like for current players,
he's not top anything.
like for current players, he's top 30. He's top 20. No, I'll say he's top
20. Come on. Julius Randle.
Hold on,
top 20.
Can I name?
You can't think of 19. You can't think of 20 players better than Julius Randle.
I'm trying to think if I can think of 20 players better.
Rowski.
He's not a bum. I just think he's just not for the Knicks.
He's not a bum. He just plays like one.
I just think he's not for the Knicks, and he might not fit in this Thibodeau system. Tibbs system not for everybody.
Would you have him on the Sixers with Embiid?
Yes, I would. Yes,
you would.
Yeah.
Then how is Maxey going to get the ball? What's Maxey going to do?
Well, Maxey will be the point guard. See, that's the problem. Maxey will be the point guard. Like Bronson to me is a scoring point guard. See, to me, they need to have another position. They should eliminate the center and then have position named like scoring point guard. because that's why I see Jalen Brunson. That's why I see Tyrese Maxey as a scoring point guard. Look to score first, pass second. Not quite a shooting guard, but can still run the point, but also put up points. Like Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is not a point guard. He's a scoring point guard.
But Damian Lillard will take over the game, though.
Yeah, but we're not asking Julius Randle.
Can we get Damian Lillard to play some defense?
Of course not.
No. Oh, he don't play defense.
We're walking. No, I mean, there you go.
Yeah, he don't play defense.
But see, going back to Julius Randle, he doesn't have to be the best player on the team. He don't have to be the guy. He could be one of the guys, and I think on this Knicks team, he's trying to be the guy.
Right.
He's no longer the guy. He's just one of the guys. So he needs to be on the team where there's already a guy that he clearly can see, and then he's just one of the guys. Because right now, he still thinks he's the guy, even though
he's
drunk.
He's drunk.
So you're saying if it was a guy, the guy on the team,
yes,
his game would elevate to.
He will fall into being one of the guys.
Okay.
Yeah, he has to be on the team.
I just think that. I feel like I don't want this to be a 5 or 6 year thing with Julius Randle, and they keep waiting for him. This is what you're gonna get. And again, why his value, he has some kind of consideration to a value on another team. That listen, strike while the iron is hot, man. Because I'm not really feeling Julius Randle, son. Word up.
Yeah, I think this is the year that they may move him. This should be the year. It should have been really last year. But
yep, it should have been moved last year.
They should really move him this year because his stock is still high. They got to move him before the stock really start falling. And they may have to do something similar to what the Sixers do. Try to get some picks. And then try to flip those picks for somebody else. But I feel like if they're gonna move, they gotta move soon. Don't wait too long.
I know it's early, like we always talk about with baseball. It's early, but again with basketball, it's super early. So I'm gonna dwell on who's doing what or who's the best. Have you seen those basketball court layouts?
Oh my God!
For the the tournament, the in-season tournament.
Yes, I've seen those, and I'm already annoyed about the mid-season tournament and them.
What are we calling it, Browski? What are we calling it? The in-season tournament, the mid-season tournament?
I believe it's the in-season tournament because it's going to start soon. Soon. So to me, that's also extremely annoying because I don't want my guys to be focusing on this tournament, or I don't want my guy to get hurt playing in these tournament games. These guys are already millionaires. I know we have some guys on there,
right? That's right.
But they still are making money. I don't know. They don't need this. We already have an in-season tournament. It's called the playoffs. That's what
right.
The people.
That's what the people want to see. That's what they play for. Right.
They play to get into the playoffs. Come on.
The reason why I brought that up is because you see they're going back to the East-West format for the All-Star game. So they should have never did that captain thing, whatever. If they did it, they should have did it still with East-West Conference or whatever. And that's the gripe, Browski. I don't care about how them actually doing it because they're going to do it anyway, whether I like it or not. This is the point of the matter. We have, or I'll say, have a point when we're saying no, don't change it. And it's for the good of the game, and we're trying to bring the game to the next level. We're bringing the game to the new millennium, to the younger audience, this and that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. and then you turn around and then you just go back to the original format that you should have never left in the first place.
Yeah. My thing with this tournament, it's a meaningless tournament. Now, if they wanted another tournament that means something, it could have been something at the end of the year for draft positioning. You get the worst teams and you play a tournament style. You lose, first one out, you get the 12th spot. You next one out, you get the 11th spot. You can do that. It's not having
Right.
and it's not having stupid pinball.
Right.
Because now you can't tank during the season. Now you have to play these games. If you're bad, you're bad. If you're bad, you're bad. So now all the terrible teams is not going to keep getting these high draft picks. Like you can still trade your picks, but if you say for example, we got the Clippers first round pick. Let's say the Clippers are terrible. They are in this tournament and they win the tournament. That means that their pick, the Sixers, will get the first round, will get the first overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
The winner of the losing tournament get the first overall pick, so that we can stop this tanking and stop with the pinballs. The little ping pong balls, it's already fixed. So this will stop, a team like what team's been the Detroit Pistons. They are always bad.
Or Cleveland.
They are always bad, but there's always a bad team that constantly keep getting top
the number one pick, right?
Yeah, so that would end it. Instead of having this stupid in-season tournament, you can have that at the end of the year. People will still watch it and root because people will want their team who are terrible to win and get the first overall pick.
Right.
Play
I heard we have Deion Sanders is in the house. Halloween edition of Down to End Sports Talk, ladies and gentlemen. We have Deion Sanders in the house, the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. Welcome to Down to End Sports Talk, Prime, Coach Prime. How are you today? We're having some technical difficulties in the building. It seems like they stole the volume from Coach Prime's voice.
We're coming.
The jewelry.
We're here. We're here. How you doing?
All right. Is that Coach Prime? Is that Coach Prime? What's good, Coach Prime? Welcome to Down to End Sports Talk. What's going on with you?
Flashing lights, moving to the beat.
Uh-oh.
Must be the money. How you doing?
I'll tell you something that was moving. That jewelry was moving out of the locker room the other day.
Yeah. Well, I wear mine all the time, so I don't have those problems.
We had that problem.
When I'm out there on the field, I'm just out there doing the thing. Then Shador, he has his, and Shiloh has his. That was the mother boys.
So Coach Prime, how do you see your Colorado Buffaloes season so far? You guys are already won 4 times as many games as you did last year. You suffered through one of your top players being hurt. We already know the story about your offensive line. What is the grade that you're giving your team so far this season going into another Pac-12 game?
Well, I just want y'all to know we're coming. We've arrived. We're here. We're not going nowhere. We're not going. Next week, I have MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice, and Milli Vanilli on the field. We'll let you know that we're here.
Well, you have Billy, but Vanilli, I don't think Vanilli gonna show up.
Yeah. Flavor Flav singing the national anthem.
Yeah, Flavor
He gonna
Flav
sing the national. He gonna sing the national anthem at halftime. Yeah.
All right.
I just want you to know that
All right, Coach Prime. What if you're invited to a bowl game? Do you think that you guys would take that bowl game route? How many games do you think it takes for you guys to make a bowl? Be considered to be bowl considered?
Well, it's like 8 or 9 games left. How many games left? We got 3 games.
You know, how could be done?
I think Coach Prime think he's still playing in the NFL.
Okay, well, we got 3 games left. We need to win 2 more games, and we're bowl eligible. That's all I know.
2 more games.
And
okay.
2 more games, and we'll be there.
All right.
We're coming. We're coming.
How do you talk to your players now coming off of that loss against the bad loss against Stanford, the loss against Oregon, and then the loss against UCLA, jewelry notwithstanding. How do you get your guys to kind of rebound? You got Oregon. I think you have Oregon State coming up this week. How do you guys bounce back from these losses?
Well, I think that
usually God give me a word long before this, but he's been holding it. Because it's not about them. This is about us.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Coach Prime. This is not a Sports Talk Halloween episode. We had Coach Prime, Coach Deion Sanders of Colorado Buffaloes in the building with us. Salute. We got Browski in the house, a.k.a. Yada Bear in the house. Make sure you check out Yada Bear. Make sure you check out Win Walker in the building. Making it do what it do. This is the part of the show where we get down on it. All right, real quick before we get up out of here. Browski, what you getting down on this week?
What I'm getting down on is quite surprising. It's the fact that a lot of Eagles fans has been calling into our local radio station and complaining about us doing the touch push. They are stating that they're concerned because Jalen Hurts is wearing a knee brace for a bone bruise that he got in the game against Miami. And they're saying, oh, well, we shouldn't be doing it so much because of his knee. But he didn't get injured or hurt during that play. Why would you not want to use a play that's have a 95% rate? Okay? 95% of the time we do this play, we execute it properly. It's a 95% success rate. It's ridiculous. When you have a great offensive line and you got a quarterback that squats 600 pounds, that's 2 defensive tackles that he's squatting. He can get the yardage. People want to say, oh, well, he can get hurt. The offensive line can get hurt. But it's football. You can get hurt on any play. You can get hurt just running onto the field or running off the field or just running on the sideline, as we have seen plenty of times. People getting non-contact injuries. So I just need everybody to chill out. Let us continue to run the play and just go with the flow. That's all you gotta do. Let's just chill out and enjoy the show. That's what I'm getting down on. Just
go with the flow, chill out, and enjoy the show.
That's right.
That's Yada Bear right there. Win Walker, what you getting down on, yo?
Yo, I want to get down on NFL reps, NBA reps, boxing reps.
Wow.
I'm getting down on all refs. If you gonna referee, be a fair referee, because it's getting really ugly out here. Y'all make the table sway. In the NFL, it's real terrible. In the NCAA, it's terrible. Even in boxing, Fury, you didn't win that fight. It's terrible.
Oh, wait a minute. You got to knock out the champ. You can't win. You can't beat the champ on points. You got to knock out the champ. And he was only throwing counter punches.
That man won.
Hey,
I say the majority of the rounds. Fury didn't win, but probably 3. I give Fury 3 rounds. Come
Nah,
on.
we disagree with
Come
that.
on. Nagano should have got that. A split
He wasn't
decision by.
aggressive. He was only counter punching. Everybody knocks Fury down. We didn't see Deontay Wilder knock Fury down about 2 times in the fight and still lost. Okay? So a knockdown to me doesn't equals victory, especially when you fighting the champ. You gotta knock the champ out. And you know that win. You gotta knock him out. Can't go
Okay,
too far.
so I guess that's why when Pittsburgh played, they pulled out a 17-year-old call that hasn't been called forever. Offsides on the offense. Offsides on the offense.
But what
That's
offensive
what I'm
set were
getting.
they in?
That's on a field goal. Hey, I'm getting down on the referees. That's all. I'm just getting down. Get down on the refs.
All right, you finished getting down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get down on something real quick, man. The other day was a day that we don't see a lot. All 4 major sports played at the same time on the same day. You have football, baseball, basketball, hockey, and it speaks to where we are because once upon a time, you could look at the calendar, and you know what season it is.
Yeah.
Automatic. You knew what season it is. You could look at your team's roster, be it football, basketball, baseball. This is once upon a time, and you knew, what your roster was going to look like, barring major injury, barring major trade. You knew what your team was going to look like. Nowadays, you don't know what the hell's going on. All right. And as sports heads, there's nothing more exciting than having all of this go on, but it's such thing as overload. Because you want to talk about everything and you can't. It's impossible. You know what I mean? So again, I just want to get down on the fact that how everything overlaps. So we've talked about it before on the show. You know what I mean? How the seasons overlap and everything kind of bumps into each other, and you barely finish the season. The next thing you know, you're doing summer league and you're doing the draft, and back to the season again. You know what I mean? And we were talking about like, damn, the basketball season snuck up on us. You know what I mean? Like, damn, it's baseball season not over with yet. Hockey season is playing. We get ready college football, NFL. You know what I mean? College basketball get ready to, pop off. The WNBA just finished. Like, wow, man. You know what I'm saying? So, again, it's just crazy how everything is bunched all up. But we appreciate y'all for checking us out, man, down in Sports Talk every Tuesday night, 8 to 9 p.m. We got my man Win Walker in the house with us. The ubiquitous Yada Bear. Y'all make sure y'all check out Yada Bear. She's a contributor to the Star Report. You make sure you check out the homie Star and all of that. Once again, Party Life couldn't make it. He's being chased up the Space Needle by Washington State Police. So he said he'll join us on the show next week. And Florida Boy Jay, he's been partying all week, so he's stretched out, probably somewhere asleep on the couch. Right. Salute to Florida Boy Jay. And salute to y'all, man. Down in Sports Talk, we're in the building, man. We're about to get up out of here, man. We hope y'all do what y'all do. We hope your team wins. And if they don't, you can come over here and tell us about it. All right? Down in Sports Talk. Don't go nowhere, y'all. We're in the building. Salute. Peace.
Peace.
Love. And
Go Eagles.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.